Fear of the apex. Prologue. A terrifying reputation. In the annals of the Galactic Coalition, humanity was still new, but their name echoed with an unsettling resonance. The Zorth historians called them the flame that walks. The insectoid Kareen whispered warnings to their young. If you hear silence after battle, the humans are still near. The Trinax war clans, a species bred in violence and conquest, refused to utter Earth's name without their weapons drawn. Not out of superstition, out of respect. Why? Because in every encounter, humans proved one terrifying truth: they did not break. Whether outnumbered, poisoned, or stranded, they held the line. The Trinax remembered the siege of Vargo III, 100 Marines against 8,000 warbeasts. Only 5 humans survived. None retreated. And when the Coalition had offered them surrender, one had simply smiled and said, "Why? We've only just started." Now, a human diplomatic envoy was expected to arrive at the Central Coalition Station, Halcyon Prime, for peace talks. The council chambers buzzed with uneasy anticipation. And when the humans sent a Marine, the galaxy braced for war masquerading as peace. Arrival of the human delegate. The diplomatic hangar stood tense. Dozens of alien delegates and security drones watched the descending Terran shuttle. Sleek, black, and angular, it looked more like a gunship than a courier. That didn't help. Whispers passed between the observing dignitaries. Did they send a general? No. Worse, a Marine. I heard they chew metal for nutrients. The doors hissed open. Out stepped Staff Sergeant Anya Velasquez. No armor. No weapons. Her formal uniform was sharp but elegant, stitched with navy blue and silver. Her stride was confident but unthreatening, her expression calm yet unreadable. Tall for a human woman, with bronze skin and piercing dark eyes, she bowed slightly in greeting to the nearest dignitary. Ambassador Velasquez, representing the United Terran Systems. It's an honor. Silence. The Threx ambassador blinked. You speak Vortari dialect? Anya smiled, her accent flawless. I spent a few years in your trade regions. It's a beautiful language. Complex but melodic. A few delegates exchanged uncertain glances. This wasn't what they expected. Were the scars? The battle glare? The veiled threats? She walked forward with grace, scanning the chamber not like a predator, but like someone reading a room. Tense first impressions. The council chambers rose like a great spiral hive, each species seated in a tiered semicircle of light and color. At the center, the speaker's dais hovered gently above the floor, a neutral ground where only the brave or foolish stood alone. Anya stepped into that circle. Council Speaker Alrin, a crystalline being of the Valari people, shimmered to life behind the main podium. Earth has sent a warrior in diplomat's clothing, he said, his voice resonant with suspicion. Do you mean to intimidate us with legacy alone? Anya gave a diplomatic half-smile. No intimidation intended. Speaker, I am here to discuss peace, not war. I wear this uniform to honor my past, and to assure you I understand what war costs. A few murmurs of approval sounded from the more pacifistic species, like the Sylvians and Urai. But others, especially the militaristic Trinax, bristled. Words, growled General Crothul, a towering Trinax covered in bone-plated armor. His voice dripped with contempt. A warrior who speaks softly is either hiding a blade or lost her edge. Anya turned slowly toward him, or perhaps understands that some blades are best kept sheathed. Crothul bared his fangs. We know your kind. You kill first and then ask for diplomacy over the corpses. Sometimes, Anya replied, meeting his gaze. And sometimes we're forced to clean up the mess others make. A sharp, tense silence fell, the kind that only occurs when two apex predators size each other up. Challenge from the Trinax General. Crothul rose, thudding down the ramp with every massive footstep. His followers cheered quietly behind him. I will not let my people sit in the same chamber as a Terran until we know what she truly is. I invoke the right of honor. Gasps rippled through the room. This was an ancient Trinax custom, rarely used, public combat to determine the sincerity or strength of a speaker. It was barbaric to many in the coalition, but still legal by its charter. You challenge a diplomat to trial by combat. Aranast scandalized. Crothel growled. If she is who she claims to be, she will endure. If she is a fraud, she dies. Anya raised an eyebrow. Do I get to choose the weapon? No, only your stance. She took a step forward. I accept. The duel begins. The arena was conjured from the ship's hollow chambers. An enormous dome simulating Trinax terrain, jagged rocks, thermal vents, and high gravity. Anya stood alone, wearing only a reinforced training suit. She declined the ceremonial sword offered to her. Instead, she wrapped her hands with cloth and cracked her knuckles. Crothel entered with a roar, wielding a massive plasma axe. You will fall, Terran. Anya smirked. You've already underestimated me. The duel began. Crothel lunged like a battering ram. Anya ducked, pivoted, and rolled behind him. She didn't strike first. She waited, dodged, observed. Then, when the moment came, she struck with surgical precision. A kick to the knee joint, a blow to the ribs, a spin that redirected the weight of his own momentum. The Trinax stumbled. The crowd watched breathless. This wasn't brute strength. This was calculated control. After 10 minutes of evasion and subtle strikes, Anya disarmed Crothel with a judo throw, his axe flying from his claws. She stood over him, breathing heavily, fist clenched. She could end it. Instead, she stepped back. Crothel stared up at her, shocked. I do not need to break you to prove my strength, she said. But I could have. Remember that. The speech that changed everything. The arena shimmered away, returning them to the central chamber. Anya turned to the council. You fear us. That's fair. We've done terrible things in war. So have you. But we're here now, not because we can destroy you, but because we don't want to. She looked directly at the pacifist leaders. You seek peace. Then at the warlords. You respect strength. Then at all of them. We offer both. Not because we must, but because we choose to. The silence that followed was not of fear, but of respect. Even Crothel rose, touching a fist to his chest. She is no pretender, he said. She is what they say, and more. War forged, peace chosen. Approximate, 2,000 words. 1. Echoes across the stars. By the next rotation, Anya Velasquez's duel with General Crothel had reached every corner of the galaxy. Clips of her disarming the Trinax general without killing him looped on every comm feed. Some titled it Mercy of the Monster, others Human Restraint or Human Deception, but most simply called it the Apex Bout. For the younger generations, especially in militarized societies, the message was magnetic. A warrior who fought with power but chose peace? That was a myth come to life. On Halcyon Prime, the mood had shifted. Species that once whispered about the brutality of humans now debated their ethics, their strength of character, and their strategy. The Coalition's defense circle held an emergency session, not to prepare for war, but to reassess their assumptions. And Anya? She was quiet, polite, and very, very busy, too, behind a marine smile. Late at night, in her temporary suite, Anya gazed at the stars through her glass window. Behind her, a small data pad replayed fragments of old footage, not of her duel, but of a dusty battlefield years ago, the Centauri Rebellion. She had been just 23 then, a squad leader, young, deadly, and idealistic. The mission was a counterinsurgency against rebels who had taken hostages in an off-world colony. Orders were clear: engage with lethal force. But things changed on the ground. Civilians were caught in the fire zone. The enemy used children as shields. One of her squad mates froze. Another panicked. Anya disobeyed command. She led a flanking maneuver, shielded the non-combatants, and personally extracted 12 civilians, half of them rebels' families. She was court-martialed for insubordination. But when the footage leaked, public opinion rallied behind her. Earth's Senate overturned the ruling and promoted her. She left active service 2 months later. I don't want to be another weapon, she told her commanding officer. I want to make sure we don't need one. 3. A subversive plot uncovered. The Coalition Peace Summit resumed 2 days after the duel, with cautious optimism. Anya took her seat among the delegates. But not all were pleased with Earth's rise. A young aide, a feline-like alien named Tira of the Lani, approached Anya discreetly. Her fur twitched nervously, her tail coiled low. "Ambassador, I think something is wrong." Anya motioned her to sit. "Talk." Tira whispered, "My master, the Ilarii minister, received secret transmissions from a non-member world. Their encryption matches Trinac's intel ops. I think someone is trying to frame Earth for a planned bombing. I saw files marked Operation Scorch Seed." Anya's body tensed. If they succeed, it'll look like humanity betrayed the peace effort. Anya stood immediately. "Take me to the terminal." Within an hour, she had confirmed it. A rogue faction within the Trinacs and a handful of minor species were orchestrating a false flag attack. The plan: bomb Halcyon Prime's outer ring during Earth speech, then plant evidence of human nanotech. It would have worked, if not for Tira. Anya sent encrypted files to Speaker Aurin and requested a full audit and detainment of the conspirators. That evening, the council chamber exploded in scandal, not bombs. Under the weight of undeniable proof, the conspirators folded. Arrests were swift. Anya didn't gloat. She didn't smile. She only said, "This is why we don't shoot first." For peace earned, not given. A week later, the vote commenced. It wasn't just about Earth joining the coalition. It was about whether to treat humans as equal members, not threats, not outliers, but partners. The vote passed, 74-13, with 3 abstentions. Earth was granted observer status with direct voting rights on military and diplomatic affairs. The Trinac's representative, no longer Crothul, but his more politically savvy cousin, stood to address the chamber. "Let the record show," he said, "that humanity is dangerous. But they're dangerous in the way of nature's fire. Controlled, they bring warmth and protection. Unchecked, they burn worlds. It is our duty to keep that flame as a friend." Then, in a final gesture, General Crothul himself stepped forward. Still bandaged, his pride intact, he removed a ceremonial thong from his necklace, a symbol of Trinac's warriorhood, and offered it to Anya. "I do not kneel," he said, "but I recognize truth when it stands before me." Anya accepted the thong. "We'll try to be the fire you can trust," she replied. 5. Epilogue: A New Kind of Marine. 2 weeks later, aboard the Earth Embassy ship Unity's Edge, Anya recorded her final report. Mission complete. Target objective achieved. Peace accords ratified. Human reputation rehabilitated. False flag attack prevented. She paused. Her tone softened. "Personal note, I think they'll always fear us. Maybe that's not a bad thing. But if they also understand us, if they see that we fight not for conquest but for choice, then maybe we'll finally stop earning peace through war." She looked down at her medals. 3 for combat, 1 for valor, and now a new one. A small silver olive branch, Earth's first official diplomatic commendation. Behind her, Tira waited by the door, now her assistant. "We're receiving a new delegation from the Kareen," Tira said. "They want to open cultural exchange programs." Anya smiled. "Start with literature. Send them some Hemingway. And a cookbook." "A cookbook?" Tira blinked. Anya grinned. "Yeah, let them know we're dangerous, but we're human." The ship turned toward the next station. Stars ahead. Peace, maybe. And a Marine at the helm.